Welcome to this week's edition of Biased News Weekly, where we analyze the most egregiously biased news articles across mainstream media outlets. The following videos highlight the top biased stories we uncovered this week. These reports demonstrate clear agenda-driven framing, one-sided perspectives, and selective facts that mislead audiences. Our goal is to expose these techniques to promote more balanced journalism. If you come across a news article you suspect contains bias, please drop us a comment with a link. We will review the content and may feature the analysis in a future video. Exposing bias together is how we keep the media accountable. Now let's dive into this week's most biased news stories. As always, remember to check sources and read past the headlines. The full truth is often obscured. Media outlet, The Hill. Article title: Don't fall prey to the current panic over automated vehicles. This is an opinion piece, which by nature is expected to advocate for a certain viewpoint or perspective. Let's analyze it for bias. The headline, "Don't fall prey to the current panic over automated vehicles," suggests that there is an overreaction or unfounded concern regarding automated vehicles, AVs. The article's tone is largely supportive of AVs, highlighting their potential benefits and advocating for proper regulation and policy to maximize their positive impact. The authors acknowledge the skepticism and concerns about AVs, but they consistently frame these concerns as misunderstandings or results of inadequate policy. They provide data to argue that AVs are safer than human drivers and can be beneficial for marginalized groups. The piece mainly focuses on the positive sides of AVs, addressing concerns only to counteract them with the potential of the technology. The article doesn't delve deeply into any long-standing criticisms of AVs or any dissenting voices in the academic or professional community. Data is provided about AV's safety record, especially when compared to human-driven vehicles. The sources of this data are the AV companies themselves, which might lead to questions about impartiality. While the authors acknowledge that these calculations must be externally validated, the predominant narrative is that AVs are safer. The authors' affiliations are clearly disclosed at the end of the article. Both are connected to institutes that focus on transportation studies, and this might imply a vested interest in promoting new transportation technologies. Considering all these factors, I would rate the bias of this opinion piece at a 7 out of 10, where 10 represents strong bias. The article leans towards a pro-AV stance, and while it does acknowledge certain criticisms of AVs, it consistently frames these in the context of the potential benefits and the need for better policy and regulation. Media outlet, The Daily Beast. Article title: Fox News asks annoying Vivek Ramaswamy why he's still running. The article presents the interaction between Vivek Ramaswamy and Fox News Sunday moderator Shannon Bream. It provides direct quotes from their conversation and offers details on the context and situation. Potential indicators of bias. The article uses some charged descriptors such as puzzling candidacy, annoying, and bizarre surge. These terms are opinionated and add a dismissive tone to the article. The word annoying is taken from an opinion piece, which might be considered a subjective description of the candidate. The phrase, "Fox News asks annoying Vivek Ramaswamy why he's still running," in the title is provocative and frames the article's content in a particular way. The inclusion of phrases like, "Ramaswamy deflected," can suggest that the candidate was avoiding a direct answer which might portray him in a negative light. The article hints at potential favoritism or undue influence with the mention of Ramaswamy's meeting with Rupert Murdoch. The article uses a mix of straightforward reporting and editorialized language. Some of the descriptors and adjectives lean towards opinion rather than strictly factual reporting. This article mainly focuses on the interaction between Ramaswamy and Fox News. While it does provide context and some of the candidate's quotes, it doesn't delve deeply into his platform or reasons for running, outside of what's mentioned in the context of the Fox News conversation. Considering the above, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being completely unbiased and 10 being highly biased, I would rate this article as a 7. The article leans towards a dismissive portrayal of Vivek Ramaswamy, primarily through its choice of descriptors and the framing of the Fox News interaction. As always, evaluations of bias are subjective, and different readers might perceive the weight of these elements differently. Media outlet, The Atlantic. Article title: Why the President of Iran Does Not Deserve Dialogue. Bias rating, 9 out of 10. This opinion piece by Roya Hakakian presents a very strong viewpoint against engaging in dialogue with the President of Iran, Ibrahim Raisi, based on his alleged involvement in mass atrocities and killings. While the piece provides some historical context and evidence, it is framed in a manner that is largely unfavorable to Raisi and the Iranian leadership, emphasizing negative aspects and using emotionally charged language. For example, the author describes Raisi as a man who ought to be behind bars for mass murder. The article presents past events, such as the 1988 executions, to paint a negative image of Raisi. The entire piece is dedicated to the argument against dialogue with Raisi without providing a counterargument or presenting reasons others might support dialogue. Quotes, such as those from Ayatollah Hussein Ali Montazeri, are used to underscore the negative characterization of Raisi. The conclusion, invoking a quote from philosopher Karl Popper, is geared towards emphasizing the need to shun individuals like Raisi and the perceived danger of engaging with them. The rating of 9 is given due to the strongly one-sided nature of the piece, with the author firmly against engaging with Raisi and providing numerous reasons for this stance. The article does not attempt to give a balanced view or to consider opposing perspectives, and it is clear that it is rooted in the author's personal convictions and experiences. This is to be expected in an opinion piece, but readers should be aware of the bias when considering the arguments made. Media outlet, Salon. Article title: I don't even think about it. On Meet the Press, Trump says he's not afraid of going to prison. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the least biased and 10 being the most biased, I would rate this article as 7. Here's my reasoning. The title emphasizes Trump's lack of fear about going to prison. The phrasing, I don't even think about it, could suggest nonchalance, indifference, or even defiance, depending on how a reader interprets it. Words and phrases such as, shrug it off, and, I'm built a little differently I guess, emphasize Trump's dismissive and confident attitude. This choice of highlighting can be interpreted as adding color to the story, but it can also be seen as slightly biasing towards portraying Trump in a particular light. The video advertised as related within this article titled, Full Panel, Trump Defiant of Facts, like a bulldozer shoveling falsehoods, suggests a strong bias. The terms, defiant of facts, and bulldozer shoveling falsehoods, are both very negative characterizations. The article does a decent job at presenting Trump's statements in a direct manner, especially regarding potential pardons. The overall tone, while relatively neutral, seems to focus on aspects of Trump's character, his defiance, confidence, and dismissiveness, which can give readers a particular impression of him. The article focuses a lot on Trump's potential legal troubles and less on other aspects of the interview. While this might be because those topics are more newsworthy, it does put a specific emphasis on his controversies. In conclusion, while the article does provide direct quotes and sheds light on Trump's perspectives, the overall framing, especially with the related video's title, shows a tilt towards portraying Trump in a particular manner, pushing the bias rating above the midpoint. Media outlet, Yahoo News. Article title: How the Biden impeachment push could imperil Republicans. Assessing the article for bias, I'll break it down into different components. How the Biden impeachment push could imperil Republicans. The headline suggests that the impeachment could be a risk for the Republicans, which may have a negative connotation, indicating a slight bias against the impeachment move. The article mentions the reasons for the impeachment, giving a context about Hunter Biden's foreign deals. The piece cites a CNN fact-check stating Republicans have not presented any proof regarding Joe Biden's involvement, which may be seen as leaning towards skepticism about the Republicans' arguments. There are quotes from a Republican critic, Ken Buck, questioning the impeachment, showing intra-party dissent. The article offers context about Trump's impeachment and points out that many Republicans felt he was unjustly targeted. This provides a more comprehensive perspective. It hints that McCarthy's move for impeachment might be due to his own political concerns and paints the impeachment as potentially divisive within the GOP. The piece predicts that the chances Biden will be convicted approach zero, highlighting a potential futility in the impeachment process. History is referenced to point out potential advantages to Democrats from the impeachment push, suggesting that Republicans might be making a mistake. The overall tone seems slightly negative towards the Republicans' impeachment move, with phrases like, a risky political path, could prove a politically expensive adventure, and, a slipshod, nakedly partisan impeachment inquiry. The article cites CNN for fact-checking and mentions columns or opinions from the New York Times and the New Republic. These sources might be perceived as leaning left, which could add to the perception of bias. On a scale of 1, least biased, to 10, most biased, I would rate this article as a 7. The article does provide context and cites different sources, but the tone, framing, and choice of quotes lean towards a skeptical view of the Republicans' impeachment push against Biden. The piece seems to suggest that the impeachment move is more political maneuvering than a genuine concern.